What is up? UFC 326 Holloway versus Oliveira just took place, and this was an underwhelming card. And let's start with the main event. Okay, I thought that Max Holloway was a lock. I'm not going to deny it. But, well, I guess he wasn't a lock. I was completely wrong, and my pick got embarrassed. But I'm glad because I was rooting for Charles Oliveira. But at the same time, although I was rooting for Charles Oliveira to win, and I am glad and I'm happy for him that my boy Charles Oliveira did win, it is also depressing because, well, Max is clearly washed as well. Neither of them are really in their prime. But at the same time, how good is Ilya for grappling Charles like that, man? And how good is Makhachev? How good is Arman? All this shit, right? And Charles did really well. It was a very impressive, very dominant performance, but it's Hamzat Dricus-esque. It's fucking Makhachev JDM-esque. It's just not fun. It's not exciting. What do you want me to break down? Huh? Oh, Charles got to take down every single round and held him down. Max didn't get up at all. Oh, wow, in round one, Max was popping him with the jab. Didn't throw a single kick the whole fight. Was just throwing combinations upstairs for the couple minutes he was on the feet. Right. Maybe he threw kicks in round 3. I don't know. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see round 3. I will admit that. I missed a whole round because my Paramount literally crashed on my Xbox, and I had to go to my PlayStation and watch my Paramount on that. Anyways, boring shit fight. Incredible performance from Charles Oliveira. That's the most impressive performance of Charles Oliveira's entire career. He's moving up the GOAT list with that one. Doing that to Max Holloway. Oh, Max isn't a grappler. I don't care. He was also, piecing up and he was doing really well in the striking, too. And had a really high guard. And in the point-down exchange, he won the point-down exchange. Charles literally rocked Holloway in that. And he rocked him before, too, in, one of the other rounds. Round 4 or 2, whatever. Yeah, 50-45, easy win for Charles Oliveira. Oh, wow, Max got some control time in round 5 before being swept in amazing fashion by Oliveira. Cool. Oliveira was staying nice and tight the whole time. Just great tight work from Oliveira. Holloway looked completely demoralized the whole time, making faces and stuff, and just didn't look like he wanted to be there. Eyes looked gaunt. Going into the fight, he looked super nervous. His wife looked super nervous when they panned over to her for some reason. These are just things I'm pointing out. Holloway in his prime. But Charles isn't either. Okay? Okay? So there's no excuse. I'm just saying. Those are just the signs. I'm just pointing out a lot of the signs, okay? So that was a depressing little performance. But let's go Charles, right? It's hard to be hyped up for him even when I rooted for him. With that type of performance, you know what I mean? It's cool. It's a bad motherfucker title, and that's how you do it? Okay, cool. I guess he tried to finish. I'll give him that. So it's not really his fault. It's just how it went down. Barajo versus DeRitter. Here's the thing about Kyle Barajo. He's dumb. Kyle Barajo is very dumb. Okay? Because this guy, Kyle Barajo, does not understand, just like another guy in this card, how to properly utilize a front headlock, how to properly utilize dominant position on the ground. You see, there's this thing called separating and throwing. There's this thing called ground and pound. There's this thing called finishing the fight. There's also this thing, Kyle Barajo, called keeping your damn hands in front of your face and not by your hips, like Vinicius Oliveira. Why are you trying to be loosey-goosey and float around? I know Kyle won. But his fight IQ shit, and he was being dumb. He's just really skilled and really talented everywhere on the feet, on the ground. And out-grappled DeRitter. He actually getting proper takedowns and getting control time, in round 3, winning the round. DeRitter, he does what he does. The thing about DeRitter, it's hard to be mad at him. Yeah, he looks goofy and stuff, but he's doing everything he needs to do. And I was rooting for Kyle, because I had high hopes for Kyle. And also because I was picking him, and I kind of like them both equally, but also because of momentum drop from DeRitter, I was kind of being more biased towards Kyle. But now I like DeRitter more again. I like the way he was fighting. it was a decent fight, I'm not going to lie. DeRitter was landing lots of jabs, throwing them knees, they accidentally knee each other in the balls. That was kind of funny. But yeah, what should I just say anything else about that fight? Yeah, Kyle won rounds 1 and 3 off of, like, round 3 off control time, round 1 off of damage. Landing that really nice lead hook out of southpaw. Kind of how Hoofy does his out of orthodox, that no look away left hook, but not nearly as like look away, but it is like the same mechanics of the step, and the way he throws his right hook is the same. Off the lead foot, that switch stance right into that right hook, and it was really nice the way he steps off with it. Dude, Anyways, good win from Kyle Barajo, but he's going to be fighting Fluffy Hernandez next, most likely, and it's not a good look going into that fight. But it was a decent fight. Kind of embarrassing that's, what the top 10 middleweight looks like with some of the decisions that were being made by Kyle. It's kind of fun, I guess. Raul Rosas Jr. Man. Well, Rob Font looked dumb. He made a lot of dumb decisions. It was a 30-27 for Raul Rosas Jr., by the way. He dominated and ragdolled this guy, Rob Font. Let's break it down. Even on the feet, Raul Rosas looked better than normal. Okay, let's start with that. Raul Rosas is really scrambling and really being safe and cautious in round 1. Rob Font had a really weird crouch stance the whole time. That didn't work for him. And you know what he did in the latter rounds? Rather than adjusting and trying to fight more normally, he just crouched himself even further. Yet he still got taken down and ragdoll. Now, the thing is, Raul Rosas looked way better on the feet than normal. His footwork was looking better. It was looking cleaner. His shots that he was landing on the feet, strikes were looking crisper. Landing some 1-1-2s and 3-2s. And he was like bouncing in and out, looking nice and athletic. Has a kind of like a long stance footwork-wise. And he's kind of changed it up a little bit. And it's working for Raul Rosas. And he pushed a high pace in the grappling. Rob Font was making a lot of dumb decisions and looked dumb on the ground. Like, really stupid. But I can't take too much away from Raul Rosas Jr. Dude, Raul Rosas Jr.'s body lock from the back, oh my gosh. Insane! The way he was scrambling with that, too. When it's like, oh, Rob Font looks like he's about to get top here. But I was like, you know what? Like, he's probably not, because Raul Rosas' body lock game is crazy. And then, boom, look at the way he reversed that. Rob Font's about to be on top, but boom. The way that Raul Rosas kept the scramble and got up in the top side control off of that was insane. That was in round 3, by the way. Raul Rosas got a lot of takedowns. It was mostly just like, he was in the clinch a lot and like kind of like, but not like fully against the cage, just kind of like next to the cage and like like it was kind of like a scramble heavy, but not really. It's like one-sided scrambles. It was like kind of a ragdoll-y type of scramble. And Rob Font wasn't doing much, and Rob Font was getting held down a lot. Raul Rosas was landing some good ground and pound shots throughout the fight. Rob Font was making some really weird decisions. Instead of scrambling or trying to sweep, he was like pulling his leg towards him. I don't know what type of sweep he's going for. I don't know if he's trying to go for a fucking go-go plot or some shit. It looked really weird. And he was being dumb, and Rob Font's old and did not look good that great. But Raul Rosas Jr. looked really good. His grappling looked great. It looked great. It was a great performance from Raul Rosas Jr. It was impressive. And also, just embarrassed G. Matsumoto. Well, G. Matsumoto, if he didn't get frog-checked enough going to a split decision with Miles Johns, here you go. G. Matsumoto, I think he won against Rob Font, but it was still a close fight. Meanwhile, Raul Rosas out here, and that was just last year, by the way, that he fought Rob. Raul Rosas out here ragdolling him. Raul Rosas Jr. should be fighting Kyler Phillips. Let's see it. Kyler Phillips, that's what I think should be happening for him. Good stuff from Raul. Dober versus Johnson. Johnson got put in a body bag, damn. So Johnson won round 1, okay? They went out there, they're a little tippy-tappy. Johnson was landing some fast outside low kicks. Drew Dober was landing some high kicks. Drew Dober was landing like a body kick, and he was landing a side kick. This dude was being a little fancy. He landed a spinning back kick towards the end of round 1. But Johnson really rocked Dober, and I think landed more in round 1 and had a lot of slick, fast combinations. 3-2-3, 2-3-2, 1-1, 2-3, and just really fast in and out combinations. And Drew Dober's landing back, but it's just Johnson did more, and he hurt him one time bad with a straight right, I believe it was. And here's another thing. In round 2, so they come out in round 2, similar thing happens. Drew Dober's coming in with some low kicks, and Johnson this time, he comes in with a low kick as well, but then kind of switches it up and starts doing fast boxing combos, right? But then he gets caught on the way, and then Drew Dober lands a straight left and puts Johnson in a body bag. He lands a straight left, drops Johnson. He's got perfect spacing. Johnson, I think he just threw a low kick. And then Dober, dude, his chin is just right there. Dober, boom, pops him with a hard 2. And then comes over with a crazy ground and pound shot and puts him in a body bag. He didn't go out cold, but he was out. He was definitely out. You could see it in his eyes. Speaking of body bags, Bruno Ferreira got put in a body bag. Bruno Ferreira looked bad early. I'm not going to lie. Bruno Ferreira did not look that great early. Ferreira looked like bad on the freaking... one more thing about Dober is... Another reason Dober won is because Dober was being very smart and he was being very hesitant. Dober was being very, very smart and kind of hesitant early and just set himself up well. And Gregory was being hesitant, but I trusted Gregory more. I was like, okay, this is what I think's gonna happen from Gregory. He's gonna be hesitant. Ferreira's gonna be moving around weird. Then Ferreira's getting slept. That's exactly what happened. Okay, Ferreira, this guy was moving around weird, whiffing on a lot of shots. Gregory maybe landed, barely landed a single 2, but guess what? The first clean shot he lands, it's this beautiful 2/ overhand, this beautiful right hand. You can argue if it's straight or an overhand, whatever. Lands this beautiful right hand, perfect extension on it. Just as Ferreira gets himself caught up in a weird distance, I don't know if he was fainting or maybe he whiffed on something and then fainted after that. But he just put himself in a really bad spot, and that one mistake just screwed him. And just got freaking popped and folded bad. He just got dropped hard with that right hand. And the ref stopped it immediately. Cody Garbrandt versus Long Zhao. Long Zhao is a cheat. But this guy Garbrandt didn't go for it. He didn't freaking go for it, man. This guy didn't go for it at all. Garbrandt is, I don't know, man. The fight was fine, I guess. Dude, this card was just not good. It was disappointing as shit, dude. Dude, outside of this, it's whatever. Fuck this card. But, dude, Long Zhao was, okay. I think Long Zhao lost round 1. The commentators are being weird. Thought Long Zhao clearly won round 1. But no, it was a close round. Close on damage, kind of relatively low output. Zhao was landing low kicks and side kicks and whiffing, spinning back kicks and just throwing fancy shit that didn't have much sting on it. And Garbrandt was landing some fast boxing combos here and there, and then he dropped him with a shot. What was it, a hook? I don't fucking remember, I'm sorry. But he dropped Long Zhao in round 1, and I think he clearly won round 1. Round 2, Long Zhao uses his dynamicness. He's not landing super well, but he is landing. He's a point fighter. He was point fighting well. And Garbrandt was shooting in a lot, going in for the clinch, wasn't able to get anything off. Long Zhao wins round 2. Now within round 3, in the first minute and a half, guess what happens? Long Zhao nut shots Cody Garbrandt 3 times. 3 times within the first minute and a half. 2 nut shots. 2 times he kicks him in the dick. And then he gets a point taken. Then knees him hard in the dick, in the clinch. And he gets a second point taken. And then, he grapples him. And out-grapples him and takes him down and controls him and freaking, outstrikes him a little bit and stuff. And won round 3, right? And so Garbrandt wins 28-27. Very weird. He won because Long Zhao was a cheat. And honestly, if Long Zhao didn't have those crazy nut shots, I think Cody Garbrandt would have won round 3, in my opinion. But he was being very hesitant and wasn't as fast as normal. And Garbrandt is continuing to go downward in his career, even more. And, yeah, scraped up a win over Long Zhao because Long Zhao cheated. Speaking of guys looking shit, Dante looks shit. Dude, off the front, the stupid stuff he was doing with the front headlock. Man, okay. So, this guy, Dante Johnson, looked like shit. He won by split decision. Minus 800 favorite. You go to a split decision with Cody Brundage. Cam Rousen would shit him. That's all I'd say. Okay, this guy, Dante, comes out and he's moving all weird, being shaky and stuff, All right, he freaking... Man, it's fat as shit. What rounds did he win? Was around 3-1 or some shit. Off of freaking that shitty front headlock position and freaking just landing a little more and doing damage. And he was whiffing a lot, too. He could have arguably lost what was around 3. And Brundage was out damaging him and out working him a little bit in round 2 and won that round. They both looked bad on the feet, whiffing on a lot of things. Terrible technique. Johnson from the front headlock position was so stupid. Like, dude, you're a finisher. Why don't you separate and throw from there? Even when you have him up against the cage, separate and throw, right? Separate and start throwing. Or you take the back, or you flip him over, or you go for a ninja choke, you go for a guillotine, you go for an anaconda choke, you go for a darce. Do something. You know what he does? Out of the 10 times, damn near 10 times, like 7 or 8 times he does it, there was only one time where he did anything, and all he did was just pitter-pat with his fist and his knee a little bit for 5 seconds. And you know what he ended up doing every time? And it's not because Brundage scrambled out. Once he did, but the other, 6-7 times, maybe 5-6 times, Dante Johnson literally just let go. He just kept letting go over and over again and just stood up. Let go, stood up, and gave Brundage all the space he needed to just get up and put himself in a neutral position with him. Really fucking stupid. You have the advantage. Why are you not using it? He looked dumb. He looked bad. They both look bad. Dante Johnson would lose to, Andre fucking Tarowski, okay? He's on the same level as Cody Brundage. He went to a split decision with him. They're on the same level. Ricky Tercios versus Alberto Montez. Okay, what are my notes for this one? Montez. Oh, yeah. Montez had good combinations early. Yeah, good combinations early. They weren't dude, he's like a knockoff Elliott in a way. He was landing decent combinations early, in round 1. Round 1 because of the combinations. Ricky was just being very weird. Just kind of spamming the clinch and doing absolutely nothing with it. Whiffing on every shitty boxing strike and kick you through. Whiffing on shitty spinning back kick attempts like crazy. Just looked bad, looked like shit. Talking about Ricky Tercios, and this guy was just whiffing on everything, was just moving around really weird. And Alberto Montez, he freaking dragged him down, sprawled on top of him when Ricky was in freaking front headlock. When he had Ricky in front headlock position, when Ricky was in turtle in round 2. And, started wrapping up an anaconda really slickly and then rolled over his shoulder, got into that perfect position and just squeezed it and just walked his legs slowly into it, made it super tight to the point where, Ricky went to tap, and then he just went out cold. So, very good submission from Alberto Montez. Alberto looked really nice, really clean, really good. I think he's a solid prospect. Yeah, I think he's a solid prospect. He handled Ricky Tercios pretty easily. Now, Cody Durden versus Niam Gerald Temtembril. Now, this guy... Cody Durden looked like shit, kind of, and he gassed. He was gassing bad, and he gassed himself out, and he looked stupid. He had bad fight IQ. He had bad fight IQ the whole time. He was spamming takedowns early for no reason. Should have kept it on the feet. Probably could have won. Probably would have won if he kept it on the feet in those latter rounds. The takedowns were working early, but that's because he was just spamming them and going 100% on all of them. And he asked himself how bad. And, putting himself in bad spots, even though Tubman Tembrill's he's got really slick submissions. Was getting close to getting in some of those spots where he would almost get submitted. Really bad performance from Cody Durden. Tubman Tembrill looked good, though. Looked good in the grappling, looked decent on the feet. It wasn't a good fight, but it was all right, I guess. Kind of like this card. It was all right at best. For a pay-per-view, it was shit, though. Jeez. One of the worst cards of the year so far. Maybe the worst. I don't know. Last fight night might have had more excitement. I'm not even joking. Now, Sumadwerji versus Jesus Aguilar. Oh, wow. What are my notes for this one? What are my notes? I'm serious. What are my notes? Nurgaze, no. Tobias, no. Ferreira, no. Durden. I didn't make any notes. Where are my notes? I didn't make any. What happened in this fight? Shit. Dude, this is why I had to make notes for myself, because I have bad memories when it comes to this shit, even though I just watched this card. Jesus Aguilar looked like shit. That's right, he did. He looked bad. A lot of these fighters on this card look bad. He looked bad. I remember him just being really dumb, but in what ways? Oh, yeah, on the feet. On the feet, that's why. Oh, that's right. So, this guy, Sumadwerji, was being, he looked decent enough, and he was actually, doing well on the feet and was being dynamic and doing, who else was I saying that was trying to be a dynamic? Oh, if Long Zhao was good, okay? Sumadwerji is the real Long Zhao, okay, and was being good in the kickboxing and just, tit-for-tat him in the kickboxing. And then later started to out-grapple him and stuff. But Jesus looked real shit and weird on the feet. And it's kind of weird that Sumadwerji wasn't able to submit this guy. And Jesus, especially, dude, you're a flyweight and you're not even that skilled. And, your technique is not, that good, dude. And he got outstruck by, 31 significant strikes. And, got taken down 4 times. And it was a good performance overall from Sumadwerji. It was fine. Fight was fine. Half out Tobias versus Dyer Nurgaze. Tobias' striking looked poo. He whiffed on everything. How could Dyer not freaking finish him? Okay? Dyer didn't look good himself. They both look shit. They're both low level. But he was out striking and out grappling. Half out Tobias. Half out Tobias is supposed to be a freaking, good submission guy, and this is supposed to be a layup. This is supposed to be a layup for Rafael Tobias because Nurgaze is coming off 2 submission losses in the UFC against Brandon Ribeiro and Iran Salty Baldiev, okay? And Rafael Tobias has got mostly submissions. He's got 4 or 5 submissions in his career, something like that, okay? And wasn't he undefeated or maybe 1 loss? I don't remember. 7-0, 7-1, whatever. Now he's 7-2, 7-1, whatever. Something like that. But anyways, this guy freaking... This fight was whatever. I know it was high output. It wasn't a bad... it was kind of fun. Don't get me wrong. It was kind of fun. Tobias had, one little shitty submission attempt. Do you remember that? There at a reversal. He landed a lot. He just landed a lot more. He He outworked him. Dyer's cardio looked decent. He was, touching his eye a lot, touching his own eye a lot. Rafael has no defense whatsoever. No countering ability. No countering ability from either guy. Dyer was just, swinging, just sloppy shots that didn't really have much power on it, but he was just landing a lot. Because he did land just 100 strikes, he did end up doing some damage, but not that much. And now for the first fight of the card. Okay, Luke Fernandez. All right, this is 2 minutes, but a lot happened. Fernandez was rushing in. He was piecing up Bellato early, but his spacing on his shots was so bad, just like I said it would be. He has good timing. He's powerful. Bad footwork. Bad spacing on his shots. Very open for the counters. Bellato saw that. And Bellato was also using the clinch. And he was also kneeing the body in the clinch. But he also saw, when he kneed the body in the clinch, that there was a space that Luke made. There was a space that he pushes out in the clinch. And so what happened when Luke, one time when Luke rushed in on like a shitty overhand, caught it, clinched, and then pushed, and then he pushed him. The reason he pushed him in the clinch when they had like kind of their arms on each other's shoulders was because like that's kind of how Luke's like clinch was. It's a very like not very well like controlled clinch, and Bellato realized that, and and I think like Bellato either threw a knee or like he faked a knee, and that allowed him to like push him more because Luke thought he was gonna get kneed. Then he was like, I'm safe here in this weird bad spot in the clinch. And then Bellato hits him with a short left hook right on the button. Right on that. Pushes him. And just freaking bink with the left hook right on the chin and puts him out. Well, not put him out. He folds him. Drops him, and then immediately jumps on top of him. Ground and pound. Spamming. Just spamming. Just bouncing his head off the canvas. Just freaking throwing like 20 strikes. I'm serious. 20 strikes. Just like crazy amount of strikes. Not much pop on him. But crazy output. And then after that, like Luke eventually basically was forced to give up his back. And then Bellato was just pounding on Fernandez as Fernandez was sprawled out. So Bellato had one of the better performances of the night with that finish sequence. And it was on the early prelims. Anyways, this card was underwhelming. It was lackluster. Let's see. How did I do on picks? 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, 5-3, 6-3, 6-4, 7-4, 7-5. Still winning record, but not good. Not compared to how I normally do. I usually do a lot. I usually do pretty good on my predictions. But this is a shit card, so I don't really care too much. It was fine. For a numbered event, this card kind of sucked and was slacking. I mean, yeah. It was just, And some fighters pissed me off, like Dante and frickin' Kyle. I was raging at Kyle on my live stream. He was pissing me off. Just with how stupid he is, so I like him a lot less now. Just how it is. I'll see you guys. Yeah.